Hey, everybody. We just want to welcome you to our first Imagine podcast.
We're super excited that you guys get to join us and that we're going to be able to do this.
Yeah, it was something that I've been looking forward to for the last several years, and the time is just right. We have my perfect partner over here, Mari Cruz. For those who don't know me, my name is Jesse. I also go by Wino Dominguez. I'm the owner of Imagine Holdings, which all of our Imagine companies sit under. And like I say, welcome to the Imagine podcast. We're going to try to get you guys some amazing content.
Yep.
So what kind of stuff we're going to talk about, Mari Cruz?
So today we wanted to tackle on a little bit of real estate, but then also a little bit of like the changes that we're getting through as a team. So there were some big changes that I think are going to be amazing, not only to our clients, but also to our team members. And so we're going to share a little bit about all the good stuff, you know?
Yeah, so we just want to make this just an awesome time where we can talk, not just about real estate, but also about life, about investing, all kinds of stuff, some just great advice. And we're going to have some great guests on, people that we know, people who we confide in.
Yep.
And we'll be able to sometimes open it up to some questions from you guys, but we just really want to be casual, have fun with you guys, and give you guys some amazing content, give you guys some value, and give you some insight on what it takes in real estate, in life, entrepreneurship, you name it, we're going to tackle it. So just really quick, we want to talk a little bit about, just as introduction maybe.
Yeah.
We want to talk about just current market trends. So what's happening right now? What are you seeing, Mari Cruz?
Oh my gosh. It's a little bit of a transition. I think we're finally, because we're slightly different markets. It's not too different, but slightly different markets. We're here in the Tri-Cities, we're starting to see houses, anything under 400,000 that's priced fairly and is well maintained, like it's moving.
Wow,
you know,
that's
I had
good
my first time this year where it was like multiple offers.
Oh,
There's
that's
5
great.
offers, right? So it was one of those things where I was surprised to see it. I think it's going to happen more than we are thinking it will.
Wow.
This year, but we'll just see how it goes. With the rates, you know, it just depends, y'all. It depends on what it is that you guys are wanting, how you want it structured and all that, because we have one right now that I think he ended up getting locked in like a 5.2.
Oh, wow.
5.2.
Is that like on a 2-1 buy down or what kind of
No,
program?
it's a permanent loan.
Okay.
It's a permanent 30 fix, but it's a loan. It's like an ancestry loan.
Okay.
So it's very similar to a first-time home buyer
Okay.
program, and I believe they ended up doing a $20,000 credit, so it covers their down payment and their closing costs.
Oh, wow.
And so it is a little bit of a challenge to qualify for the specific loan, just because you have to meet the requirements. And basically, if your parents or your grandparents were in the States before X period, like that's really what it goes down to. They have to be able to track these things. But 5.2...
That's unheard of right now.
And yeah, and it's a zero down, right?
Oh, wow.
So, and they're getting their closing costs paid for.
Wow.
We're able to negotiate about $10K in additional credits from the seller.
Wow.
So yeah, we
That's
have
great.
a freaking 5.2.
Yeah, the great thing about being Imagine is we are all covering the Tri-Cities, but we also have a huge presence in the Columbia Basin.
Yes.
As you know, for the last 11 years, we've been one of the top agencies over there. And we're not as crazy as the Tri-Cities, but we are starting to see also same thing, anything under that 370 range. It is starting to move. The great thing is that builders still have a lot of incentives out there to take advantage of. And we are starting to see spurts of people just coming out.
Right.
You know, there was one day where all of the agents were getting showings on all the homes and people were texting. We were getting multiple showing requests. We're like, wow, this is great. And then it snows. Then it snows and then everybody dies out. But yeah, definitely seeing a lot more action.
Activity,
yeah.
Well, I
over
think
there.
a little bit of that is going to also be the people who are waiting for something crazy to happen, right?
Yeah.
Like once the president comes in or once the year starts, the feds are going to cut. And I don't know about you, Jesse, but I'm hoping that they don't just come in and cut like in a huge way, because that's going to also drive the prices up.
Yeah.
because we're still low on inventory. You know, like in Othello, I think you guys have a lot. You work with Palos Verdes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you guys have a ton of new construction out there. But even then, it's just not being able to keep up with like the demand.
Yeah, yeah,
know,
and
so-
I think a lot of the things too, where cutting the interest rate. I think a lot of people are learning now that really when the Feds come out and cut the rates, people will call, be like, "Hey, we know I saw that they cut the rates. How come my rate didn't go down?" And it really has to do with the bonds, right? The
Right.
bond market, and we track the bond market daily. And we see that there's a lot of action. One day the bond market will go down. The next day the bond market will go up. And it's really crazy because we try to tell our clients, lock your rate in, because one day we'll lose, 25 basis points, 50 basis points,
Yeah.
which means what's costing you to get your loan.
Right.
So we're seeing a lot of that move. But I think that as the Feds tackle inflation, that we can see those bonds come down. I think
Right.
that's when we're going to see some relief.
Yeah.
But like you say, we're also hoping that doesn't happen where the rates
hits
just,
hard.
yeah, the rates just come down and then we're in chaos again,
Yeah.
right? Multiple situations, offers again, here we go.
We don't want to go back to like the 2021 market where you had to basically waive your financing, waive inspection. And I know that a lot of agents at that time were, in order to negotiate and push the deal through, like they were encouraging people to do it. But now, I just don't want to go back there because I had a hard time like making deals come together because of that. Like I don't want to encourage you to waive your inspection, but really if you're in that kind of difficult situation, it might be the only way that you get into the house without having to pay 30, 40 grand over asking,
Yeah.
But then again, it's just so much risk.
It's just too
It's
dangerous.
so much risk.
Yeah, we just had one of my agents do
So-
an inspection 2 days ago, and they had major foundational issues.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe some termites, and just
Yeah.
thinking about, could you imagine not doing the inspection on that home? So yeah, no, we're definitely with you. We're hoping that doesn't return, but we do
Yeah.
hope that there's some kind of relief.
For sure,
in the market
yeah.
soon. So
I think townhomes. I don't know if you guys are starting to see that in Othello and Moses Lake and all, the area. Just townhomes are kind of the new norm
yeah,
in
yeah.
Tri-Cities. And honestly, even in the lower valley, you're starting to see it.
Yeah.
And I think it's just the only way that the builders are able to accommodate affordable housing
Mm-hmm.
without losing a ton of quality,
Yeah.
right, when
And-
it comes to the build.
And the issue too with the builders is that new building code comes out. Here comes another $15,000, $20,000,
$20,000.
$20,000
Yeah.
added on to the house.
Yeah.
So, but I think that right now though, it's a great time. I know with any builder, there's still builders out there offering incentives. It's
lot.
a great time you can use to buy down your rate.
Yep.
And I think as soon as those rates drop, those incentives are going to drop.
Disappear. Well, that was never a norm, right?
Yeah, it wasn't.
When would you ever get a builder to accommodate any kind of, even adding closing costs to the price? Like
Yeah.
that was even a thing that most builders didn't even want to do, right? So now you're talking 10, 15, even $20,000
Yeah.
with some builders to make the deal work. But
Yeah.
I think I agree. I think once
Yeah.
we
One
start
of-
seeing trends
One of our
with-
builders was at 20,000, and he on the next phase they already said, hey, we're going to drop it down to 10.
Yeah.
We do see some, the rates coming down, so
Changes.
it's already where like I think now is the time that we tell the people, hey, I know you want a rate to come down, but you should take advantage of the buy downs
situation now,
yeah,
yeah.
before. Like you say, because I'd say there's a lot of people right now that are waiting. That
Right.
they're waiting for the perfect storm, I guess, for
Yeah,
rates to
yeah,
drop. But they don't really. They're going to get caught.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is that everybody, it's not just the rate, it's your situation, right? Like that's what I tell people all the time. It's not, don't focus on the rate, focus on your payment and focus on your situation. Because if it's not the right time for you and your family to purchase, don't purchase.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Yeah.
it's a full picture thing. It's not just the one
Yeah.
one factor. Because also I've seen a lot of different loan options come out that were never
Never there.
available.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
They're getting crafty.
yeah, like 2-1 buy downs, just like being able to do the HELOCs, the amount has increased, right? Because most of the investment ones were like 50% loan to value. Now I have a lot of people like 75,
Yeah.
80% loan to value
Yeah.
for investment properties.
Yeah,
So-
and then in certain areas, certain neighborhoods, certain zip
Right.
codes, certain big banks have some great incentives also, get you a lower rate. I know Chase had a pretty cool product where they're offering a way better rate. We just moved
Yeah.
one of our clients into a different product, got them more purchasing power. So I think right now is actually a great time. I'm not going to
The
say that
best.
because I'm a salesman or anything.
Yeah.
It's a
Are you
great
trying
time.
to sell a house?
I am
I'm
trying to sell a house.
house.
On that subject about selling houses, it's our favorite thing to do. I love to sell homes. I've been doing it for 11 years now, and we recently became ERA.
I know.
So-
We're so excited for everybody to reap the benefits of the change because we're going to have changes just back end that are huge for the agents and the agents that are in the office with us, but also for the clients, right? Some of the sweet things is like the new app that now we can share with everybody.
Yeah,
And
totally.
it's so easy to search on there. You can set your criteria. You can get up-to-date access. You can message directly. That's been amazing
Yeah.
because now you can track everything,
Yeah,
right?
everything, yeah.
So now you don't have to screenshot the
send it.
houses and send it to us
Yeah.
because we have it on the back end. So I'm super excited for
Yeah.
that. Right now, Jesse, how many agents do we have?
We just brought on another team. Actually, today is their final onboarding, and that puts us at 28.
Amazing.
Yeah, so
Okay.
and we're so happy that you guys came on board. We were so blessed, and we just really, now that we became a franchise into ERA, and
Right.
ERA is a subsidiary of Anywhere,
Right.
and Anywhere is the biggest real estate company in the nation, and the reason we made that decision, Maricruz, to become ERA was, a lot of companies hit us up, almost.
So many. I remember. Yeah.
Every single one. And it was an honor. It was an
Right.
honor to talk to all of them. We're very blessed to talk to all of them. But Amy and I, my wife, we wanted to really meet all the companies. And real estate's just cutthroat.
It is.
I'm going to put it out there.
You gotta get a little thick skin.
You
in
got to
the
have that
game.
rhino skin, or else you'll
do.
get eaten up alive out here.
Yeah.
It's one of the first things I tell a new agent that starts.
Yeah.
Like, I tell them two things. One is, I need you more than you need me.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell you that because where I first started, I was very blessed where I first started. I had a great designated broker. And but I didn't know that you can go anywhere else to get
Yeah.
hired. I was like, please hire me, please hire me, please hire me. And
And you're like, wait, I'm hiring you.
yeah. So I always tell them, I need you more than you need me, right? And I don't think enough people tell that to new agents.
Absolutely.
And the second thing I tell them is that real estate's cutthroat, right?
Yeah.
And so I wanted a company that had that family culture, that had that small town vibe still, but I wanted all the tools, right? I wanted
Right.
all the gadgets and gizmos.
Yeah.
Like the Little Mermaid said, I've got gadgets and gizmos aplenty.
Well,
I wanted
and I
the
think
whole
that you
platter.
had done such an amazing job because you've been running the team for how long now? 8 years?
8 years.
That's impressive because a lot of times people start the team and it's hard to sustain. So there
is.
has to be, and we've kind of chatted about this quite a bit because it takes more than just like getting the deal done, right? Especially to run a team. Like it takes heart. It takes commitment to everybody else's success. It takes genuine care for what you're doing, not just for your deals, but like for everybody else's, right?
Totally.
So I'm so happy that you jumped on and now you're going to be able to expand it and continue to have your heart where you want it to be with Imagine and the team, and still be able to offer all the
fun
extras.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we never really expanded, or we never really tried to recruit. Kind of wanted to stay at the level that we were at. But now that we got to fly over to the headquarters of ERA, and I got to meet I would say I met about 40 owners throughout the nation, of ERA, and all of them were just amazing. And the corporate, the structure, the way things are, it was just so great. And it's tough to say, but everything they promised, it was a lie. It was more, right?
Right.
You sit there and be like,
And how often do you get that?
right, never.
You know what I mean?
Never, yeah. I was just, it was almost too good to be true kind of a thing, you know?
Yeah, I remember when you told me, you're like, we're gonna chat it over because it still feels like we need more.
Yeah, we're gonna date because
Yeah.
you want to talk to the actual owners, right? Like,
Absolutely.
hey, what do you offer your agents, and what does ERA do for them? What do they do for you? Where's the support? You know, and it's funny because a lot of the corporate guys we become friends. Like
Yeah.
they're calling me just to see how I'm doing and all that. So it's really great. We also being part of the biggest real estate company in the nation, you get to offer them some great stuff. You know, ERA moves,
Yep.
help your clients move, their utilities, they do all that kind of stuff. There's just an array of tools for all of our, not only our clients, but also for all of our agents.
Yeah.
And right now we're just like learning because there's just a plethora of them. Like
Much.
there's just so many of them, and
Yeah.
it's been really great. So,
And I was talking to the girls because we're moving into an area in real estate where for a long time you can operate without the internet fully being involved, right? And not just like the internet, but like social media. And now we're in a time where everything has to sync together, right? And that was one of the biggest things when we talked about the ERA movement and how everything was going to work. And I remember I got so excited because I told Jerry, I was like, yes, like everything's going to be synced together. I don't have to do all the extra stuff, you know, from your CRM to like just everything.
Yeah.
And so I think now it's just being somewhere where we can have that and still have the culture that we want. Because for me and the girls in our team, they both were like, yeah, we like the small support, right? Like
Yeah.
we want to feel like we can connect because our industry is so cutthroat. It's kind of hard sometimes to get that genuine, like, you know what, I'm here for you. Like, let's work together, right?
Yeah.
Like, how can I help you? Because I tell everybody, at the end of the day, in business, you attract your tribe, right? Like, your people are going to be your people. So be who you are, and that's just naturally going to happen,
Yeah.
right? So I think that just having everything kind of sync together is going to be amazing. We're so excited.
Yeah, yeah, and we're just so we've established such a great team throughout the years, and a lot of them been with me for years now. I think 7. Some have been with me all
Yeah.
7, 8 years, and I think is how do we take this culture that we've cultivated the last few years of this family culture, and it's legit, right? Like if one of my
It
agents,
really is.
yeah, if one of my agents is sick, right? Everybody has their babies, and family's really important to us. You know that already. You know, if you're out and your baby gets sick and you have a client and, you know, you just said you had 5 offers, right? Like,
Yeah.
could you imagine losing that because you couldn't do a showing? And we just get on our GroupMe app or our other ways of communication. Hey, can anybody show a house for me?
Boom,
And they're
boom.
like, hey, I'll get it for you. And guess what? You don't have to give me $150, you know? You know, yeah, like just help me out. So I think that's one thing that I think that we want to take that to a bigger level, right? Where if you're not available, we can help you. If I'm not available, you can help me. And I think that culture is really helpful to all of us, right?
Yeah. Well,
Advertising our listings, just sharing each other's
yes.
stuff. It's just phenomenal, the reach that we're getting.
Yeah, and the part of this is going to be the Boss Mom group.
Tell us
You
more about Boss Moms.
guys-
Boss Moms is awesome, guys.
Yes. Okay. So when we decided to move with Jesse, we've known each other for some years now, and for me, it's always been, you know, being a mom, being a realtor, yes, being a wife, being a mom, that's above all, right? And so in order for me to be successful in my business, I very much have to be aligned at home, right? With my kids and my family life, my personal life. And so when we were talking about, okay, I want to be able to serve the people in our group, right? In the team. I want to see everybody win. That's just my vision when I joined Imagine. And we came up with Boss Mom. And our first meeting was awesome.
It was great.
I'm really excited.
All the girls in me.
All the girls and Jesse. It was so good because I think a lot of times it's an industry that can consume you.
It can.
Right.
It can.
And
It
to a
does.
certain extent, you need to let it consume you. Otherwise, you don't go full force.
Nope, that's
right.
true.
And so in between that consumption and like that growth stage as a professional, you have to have some balance on the back end.
Yeah.
And part of the reason why I'm so excited for the Boss Mom group is because a lot of times when you go through these things in life and you don't realize that a lot of people are going through the same thing.
Yep.
Right? Especially as women, right? Like you have the kids and the husband and the cleaning and the cooking and the showings, and then you tackle on all the real estate stuff, right? So a couple of the girls have newborns. I have a newborn, my little Arlo. He's only 3 months. And so, kind of getting to connect with them and being able to encourage them that, hey, you're not alone in this wild ride, right? Like, we're here to support each other. Hey, this is what's working for me. This is the schedule that I do with my kids. Like something so simple where so it can be a little bit discouraging when you see all the flashy, right, on socials. Sold, this, that, and the other. It's like, okay, well, how are you doing it, right? Because something's going to give.
Yep.
And so kind of getting to that point where, hey, you don't have to give up anything. It's just taking the time, have conversation, picking up what works, and kind of going through the motion with the girls. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be powerful.
Yeah. And thank you for leading that. It is a dream of mine for many years. That's why when you were coming on board, I'm like, yes, because a lot of people just see what you're saying. They see the outward stuff. They see the positive on social media, but they don't see the grind. They don't see the tears. They don't see, all
the
those
really silent drive home after like doing 10 showings that you're like, yeah, we can go without music. We can go without a podcast.
Yeah. Those are the days. And we're really big. If you look at my team, I think I got more girls than I do have guys. And I have a heart for not single moms, but those two, but just moms that, want to have a career, but it's tough because they're at home. And, we kind of have, I'm a little bit lenient on them bringing their kids to the office, as long as it stays professional. But it's really neat to see these moms. It's just the happiest things when they achieve their goals. I had one text me like, hey, I had no idea I could make this much money. I was able to stay home to reach my kids. I was able to hit all my goals that we set during the year. We had met in the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
She wanted a first rental. She wanted a bigger home. And she did all this while being home with her kids, right?
Yeah.
And so it's just that amazing opportunity that we're giving. And then now with Boss Moms, I saw that you were texting that group yesterday, asking them for their wins.
Yes.
Like, how cool was that?
And you guys, some of the stuff that people shared, I'm like, this is what it's about, right? So it's not just about real estate, because a lot of the shares were so personal. Like, I got to hang out with my kids for the weekend, right? I got to cook dinner for my family. Like, those little things, I think, as we develop as professionals, become so much more important, right? Because you can get consumed and your time just flies by, and all of a sudden you're like, okay, well, what am I doing? Because I've had those years, right? When you're rocking and rolling and you're super, super busy, and
I've been there.
You've been there every year for the last 10, Jesse.
No, but let me tell you a
know what I
story.
mean.
Let me tell you a story, though, because a lot of agents, a lot of you agents and entrepreneurs out there, let me give you a little bit of advice. And I'm sorry to cut you off,
No,
this
go ahead.
it's so near and dear when you said that.
Yeah.
There was one time where, oh gosh, I was just very early on in my career. I think it was year 3 or 4. And, I was just 20-hour days, just crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, just selling like massive. And my wife had made dinner. My kids were young, and we get to the dinner table, and I sit down on the table like this, and then my little guy says, "Dad, what are you doing here?"
Oh no!
And I'm like, right there, it just hit me. I'm like, oh my gosh, what did I do?
Yeah.
Like, so I'm not an emotional guy. Don't hug me. Don't tell me I love you. None of that stuff. I'm getting a little better after I got sick. But, I got up. I walked to my garage, because I didn't want to show anybody emotion. And I started to, bust some tears out. And that was the day that I realized that I didn't care how many houses I sold, how much money I made. I'm like, my kid is asking me, why are you here?
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's not right.
That should be normal,
Yeah.
right? Like they should expect me to be home. And
The problem was
just-
that I didn't have anybody that I
Right.
could sit down and talk to,
Right.
like you, a super producer, and say, hey, man, like behind closed doors, how do you do it? Like,
Yeah.
I can sell 50, but then I don't see my kids, or I don't see my wife, or I can't make it to church.
Right.
My emotions are a mess. I'm a mess, but I'm selling like crazy, and you're seeing sold all over Facebook. You know what I mean? So that's why we made this Imagine team. That's
Yeah.
why we're doing Boss Mom, so that we can develop this where everybody can do things right.
And it's so powerful because the plan is for it to be more than just business, right? We want to open it up to other people in the industry, other people that are wanting to do better and just don't know how, because there is no, keeping secrets in our world. Like, just share.
Yeah.
Just share.
Totally.
Because at the end of the day, all the good comes back around. And I think we're going to see it. And it's just neat to have a place where you can have honest conversation and also have accountability, right? I think in our group, we're going to be very much, we already talked about it. It's like, hey, if you're going, like, just reach out. We can keep each other accountable. And that's going to be huge, I think, when it comes to expanding the team and keeping the culture that we want to keep.
Yeah.
So it should be all dandy. But let's get into a little bit of the leadership side,
Yeah.
Jesse.
Yeah.
I would love for you to be able to share a little bit of just your knowledge, right? Like, what does it take to be a good leader,
Sure.
right? And again, you not to toot your own horn, but I want to do it for you.
No.
Because 8 years having a team in creating, like, being involved now and seeing how much these people love you, and I've seen it, and how much they love being part of the team, and how much you guys have impacted each other. Like, I want to know what does it take, right?
Sure.
Like, what does it take for you to do what you got to do
Oh, man.
to stay sharp?
Yeah, I think what it takes, it's a few things. One is you have to be yourself.
Yeah.
And I know that's I don't want to sound cliche. I can't tell someone like you,
Yeah.
these are the 5 steps to being an amazing leader. Step
Yeah.
1, no, really, because the problem is that as you guys know, real estate or entrepreneurship or leadership,
Yeah.
it never turns off.
No,
I can't just say, okay, it's 5 o'clock. I'm gonna punch out. I haven't punched out in 11 years.
you don't.
Yeah.
You
Somebody
don't
asked me,
in
hey,
business.
what's one thing you dislike about real estate? I haven't punched out, They're like, oh, I see you go on vacation. I'm like, have you been with me on vacation? We schedule, my wife and I schedule a day for me to work. When we land, we're like, no, Dad
Yeah.
has to work for 8 hours. But
Yeah.
one is you have to be yourself, because you have to operate 24/7.
Right.
So that it's always easier if you're yourself the entire time, because you don't change.
Right.
You do what you do, and you set your standards, and you stay there, right? The second thing is, as a leader, is you have to continue to learn, right? Leadership doesn't stop, right? It doesn't stop. And what I love to do, honestly, is I'm an old soul, right? I hang around with other leaders that are 20 years older than me, like, at least, right? Some 15-year-olds. And the reason is I see how they lead,
Yeah.
right? And I continue to learn how to lead, right? And how do you lead, right? People are only going to follow you if you're genuine,
Yep.
right? Because as real estate agents, we've been through it all.
Yeah.
We've seen it all. We've seen all the crap. We've heard all the crap. Every excuse there was, every scenario. And the cool part is it's ever evolving. There's just
Right.
more scenarios that come. So especially as real estate agents, your team can see right through you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they can see right through you.
And your clients can too,
Even worse.
Yeah.
Just like your kids.
for sure.
Just
And
like
they'll
your
call
kids.
you out.
They'll call you out on it. So,
call you out.
I think, you just to continue to be yourself, and that you have to continue to learn how to be a better leader, right? So, like right now, I'm listening to this amazing podcast. Like, you have to listen to podcasts. And I
It's a
think
must, you
it's a
guys. It's a
must.
requirement.
That's why we want to do it, right? Like,
Yeah.
I want to do it because I want to leave something out there that people can learn from me. I love to teach people.
Yep.
I love to, one thing that I love Mary Cruz joining our team was her knowledge, right? Her experience, handling that amount of volume and doing what she's doing, investing on the side, huge projects. Those people inspire you, right? So I listen to podcasts that challenge me, right? Not the goody two shoe ones like, do this, do that. There was one I'm working right now. It's like the 6 habits of, a bad leader. And I'm like,
oh my gosh.
I was like, all
How
6
about
for me,
that?
all 6 for me, right? And they were like, how, like one was like, how to have that difficult conversation.
Oh my gosh,
right?
yes.
Like, I hate confrontation. I hate it. I hate having difficult conversations where I say, hey, Mari Cruz, your contracts suck, So, or, hey, so it's like, okay, well, we have to learn how to have a difficult conversation, right? And as our team grows, right, now, we're up to 28, there's going to be, we're family. What does family have? Family has a little bit of drama, but at the end, we all love each other, right? So continually learning. I had to watch, I'm on the 3rd time watching that same episode because I'm having a hard time implementing those 6 habits of a bad leader, right? So I'm working on one at a time, right? So I'm being myself, and then I'm hanging around other leaders. And the cool part is the other good thing to be a really good leader that I learned from hanging around those leaders, Mari Cruz, is that I've given permission to a few people, very few, I think 2, right? To call me out of my crap.
Yeah. And that's so important, not just as a leader in like a professional standpoint, but also as a person, right?
Yeah.
Because I think with your kids, with your spouse, I think a lot of times anybody who's like me, I don't want a lot of criticism. Like, I dissect myself enough. I don't, I'm good, honey.
I beat myself up enough.
Yeah, but, I think we have to give that permission to those people that are at that level where we respect them enough and know that they care for you enough to give you some feedback if that's going to lead you in a better direction. Because a lot of times I think that it's very easy to be like, yeah, I'm doing it all right, right? But we're not always going to be doing it all right.
Nope.
And the moment that you think that you are, you already failed. That's how I see it, right? If you think that you're doing everything right, or you think that you're at 100%, like, you're already losing, because there's always going to be more to learn about others, yourself, your relationships, service, and a professional standpoint. So I agree with you on that. You have to give others the opportunity to serve you in that way, right? And be able to help you get to where you want to be. Yeah. So you have 2 so far.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I have 2, and there, it's been the best thing ever. It's made me a better husband, a better person. I don't like it. I'm
It's
getting,
a little difficult.
yeah, it is.
Yeah, in
Hey,
the
by the
beginning.
way, can I tell you something? I'm like, no, you can't tell me anything. So, but that's been great. I've been learning that, and then I think the other thing to be a really good leader is to have vision. As if you're on my team, or if I've spoke at one of your events, is I learned this from Chris Falton. He's a great author, by the way. He said that vision will give your pain a purpose.
Oh, absolutely. I love
Yeah,
that.
when I read that, it's in the book Heavy Rain that he wrote. It blew my mind. It captured me because, he says that people without vision, they perish, right? They get lost. And the example he was giving was, he goes, you're going to go through life, and life's unfair, right? We're going to go through all the crap. It's going to get hard.
My kids, it's life. Suck it up.
Yeah. No matter what, you're going to go through hell.
Yep.
Right? So if you don't have vision, it's not going to be able to get you there. And the best way to explain it is, he goes, let's say you want to get buff. You want to get healthy. You want to hit up the gym. Pillar Fitness, by the way, is beautiful.
Gorgeous, you guys. I'm not even in Othello, and I told him I need a membership so I can go once a week.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Anyway,
Anyways, we'll
check
talk
it
about
out.
that next time. We'll
Link
do
in the bio.
Yeah, we should do a session in the sauna.
Oh,
See how
I would
long
love
we'll
that,
last,
yeah.
right?
Well, 10 minutes and it's going to be over,
that's
you
it.
guys.
No, so what he was saying was, so you put a picture on your fridge of when you were like buff, right? Like when you were doing your workout, your 75-day challenge, like Luciano over here. You put your picture of where you want to be, how you want to look, right? And he goes, the reason you put it on the fridge is when you go to the gym, right? And you work out, you woke up early, you're groggy, you're tired, you're super sore in the morning, and you're like, you know what? I'm done. This is too much. But then you see that picture on the fridge, you're like, that picture just gave your pain, your soreness, a purpose.
Yep.
And I took that literally when I read it. I read it a few times. And what I did, I sat down with my wife, and we wrote down our vision. What's our vision for our life, right? And, you know, in another podcast, I could share you my personal story, right? I've had a really rough life, not the best. And so my wife and I had a vision of what we want for our family. And I put a vision for myself, what I want for my boys. And that's what keeps me going. That's what makes me want to become a better leader, because when things get hard, and you know, things got really hard, things get tough, especially in real estate. It kind of, we ask for it, being a real estate agent and a real estate company owner.
You have to be prepared,
right? So I think if you want to be a great leader, you got to have great vision.
Yeah.
And the problem is you have to have somebody to keep you accountable on that vision, right? And I'll tell you what, by having vision has gotten me through these 11 years. It's gotten me through all kinds of stuff. It got me through my battle with cancer, my battle with, you know, just bad companies, all kinds of stuff. And I tell it to all of my agents, like, what's your vision, right? I always want to know, if I meet somebody new, like, what's your vision? And, and some people actually like, what do you mean? Like, why are you alive?
Yeah.
You know, what
like,
are you striving
for?
Yeah.
What's your vision for your life, right? Like, for the people around you, you know, for the impact you want to have or you want to leave in the world. But it's crazy, Jesse, because I don't think a lot of, like, to someone who is just naturally, I think you have to have a natural inclination to want to learn and to want to do more, right? But there's a lot of people who never actually sit down and have these conversations, even with themselves. And I think a lot of times it's not because you don't want to, but it's more because you haven't been around that kind of culture. You haven't been around those people who have vision, right? Who can help you find your vision. This is something I shared with the girls when we did the Boss Mom meeting, and I told them, I'm like, you know, it's such a blessing to have people in your life that can look at you and be like, this is what you're good at. Like, I don't know if you've noticed, but this is what you're good at, right? Or this could be something that you can explore, or, you know, to kind of see those good qualities in you. And what I told them, it's like having a culture where, like Imagine, where you're surrounded by people who are already making their visions reality, right? Like, they're working towards that. That's a big deal. And having someone who's genuinely gonna be like, hey, this is what you can accomplish. You just kind of have to have your heart set on it, right?
Yeah, totally.
And I think just from being around you guys, you and Amy are very much that for everybody in the team.
Yeah. And you know, a lot of people, a lot of agents, one thing that we're doing this year, now I can do a lot more with the agents because we have an amazing designated broker, Kent Easom. And Kent, we love you if you're watching. Kent does all our contract reviews, our legal, and Victoria at corporate. They do a lot of stuff, so I can sit here and talk to Mari Cruz and Mary Lou helping me with my files. But so like right now we're meeting with just an example, right? I'm meeting with all of my agents one-on-one, right? Even though some of them haven't put their times yet on their calendar, and you know who you are. And we're sitting down with a 3-page thing I make them fill out, right? It tells about their goals, personal. I want to know your personal goals, your business goals. What are some things that we can do? We make them get an accountability partner. And in this conversation, believe it or not, their vision will come out from it. And then I get them to make old school, I get them to make vision boards, right? So I'm not only teaching you how to make, how to sell a house, right? Or, you know, how to do a live or whatever. I want to affect your life, because if I could help make you a better person and reach your goals, you're going to do way better. You're going to wake up earlier. And guess what? You're going to make more money.
Yeah.
And then we make more money.
You're going to be happier.
I'm just kidding. But
it's kind of full circle, though.
It is.
You know, you can't have one without the other.
No.
You know, that's also something that we shared. It's like you cannot outgrow your success in business from your personal success.
No.
as a person.
Yeah.
So you can't outdevelop yourself
No.
in business. And if you do, because there's very, very rare instances where you can, long term, it's going to collapse.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. I tell you that all day. Yeah. Yeah. And that's why we do what we do now from personal experiences, right?
Right.
We've had those moments where like, all right, I want to quit. How many times have you wanted to quit real estate? Be honest.
A few,
Yeah.
2, 3. I
That's
think
it?
one. Yeah, I haven't. I haven't gotten to that crazy. So here's the thing. I have Jarelli, and she's amazing. Okay, so she's basically like my other half of the brain.
That's true.
And so I got her really early on, where I know you ran solo for a little bit, running the team and still doing operations on your own. But one of the times that I had that kind of reflection period was end of 2021. I think I closed out like 65 or something that year by myself. And it was just, it was December and I'm like, okay, like what, looking at my pictures, I always, for whatever reason, I always look, cause I have kids probably, right? But I always look at my pictures and I remember going through them. I'm like, I don't have very many pictures. Like every picture
Wow.
with my kids is at the office.
Oh wow.
Right. And so thank God, like my husband is amazing and he's supportive and he would bring the kids to the office and we would have dinner together and we still did the thing. But there, I was like, man, we ran so hard that I didn't, and I can have long days and I'm sure you can too, right? You can have 10, 12-hour days and you don't feel bad.
You don't.
Because you like, at least for me, like we don't feel bad because you like what you do, right? And so you're like invested. And then at the end of the year, I was like, damn, I accomplished everything in business. We freaking knocked it out of the park, right? But on the personal side, it's like, not that my relationship with my husband or my kids was bad, but you come to realize, okay, well, I didn't give them what they deserved of me for the year, right?
Yep.
And so, man, it's just finding that balance. So I've only had once or twice, 2, maybe 3 times that I'm like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
And I think, and the cool part, having great leaders,
Yeah.
and like that saying always says, "Tell me who you hang out with, and I'll tell you who you are." This is one thing I learned from a podcast from I think Craig Groeschel.
Everybody listen to podcasts.
Yeah.
'Cause this is where we
Yeah,
get all
and
the
that's just where I
goods.
learned, because I'm on the road, right? On the
Yeah.
way over here, I'm listening to a book because that's my goal, and then on the way home, I'm listening to my podcast. This Craig Groeschel guy, he said one thing that helped me in real estate, right? That now I'm helping my agents. That's the cool part, right? It makes me sound smart, but I'm like, I always give credit where credit's due. But one thing that helped me in real estate was learning the non-negotiables.
Yes.
Right, that's just a game changer.
Yep.
And I think you guys talked a lot that in Boss Moms, but my wife and I established some non-negotiables for our kids, right? And you always worry like, okay, if I do this, am I going to lose clients, or am I not going to make it? And one of ours was something simple, was all of our kids' sports games. I was going to make it to the sports games, right?
So just to emphasize, like the non-negotiables, that is key things that no matter what happens in your day,
Yes.
these are a must.
Yeah,
for
and my
our
wife
family.
and I negotiated that
Okay.
together, and so that it's never an argument or it's
Right.
never a disagreement.
Right.
It's like we sat down and said, okay, hey, these are some things that I don't want to miss out on the kids, right, and still run the company. She's okay. So both of us were like, we're not going to miss any sports games.
Okay.
So the beginning of the month, whenever they have their games, we put them on our calendar. And then we go around it unless it's an emergency or something happens,
Right,
or
right.
something really, really, really important, like Marty Cruz wants to join the team or something like that. And
Pause.
just kidding. So now it's natural for us
Yeah.
now. We don't even like, oh yeah, no, I can't make it to that meeting. My kid has a game,
Yeah.
right? And we didn't miss any games. I mean, it was just a phenomenal thing.
What did your kids say? Did they say anything? Like at the end of the year?
I think.
Or did you notice any difference?
I think they.
Because you guys have a close relationship,
Yeah.
right? You know what I mean? Like, did you notice any like little aha moments where they're like, okay,
Yeah,
they
I
noticed?
think so. I think they already knew. Like
Okay.
it was crazy because it wasn't like, hey Dad, are you going to be able to go to my game? it got to the point he's like, hey, Dad, I'm not going to play at all this game. And he goes, I know you're really busy, but we're going to play with they put 2 teams together. He goes, I'm probably going to pay 3 seconds. Okay. So I know you've been really busy and you haven't missed any games. And I'm sitting there like, did you hear that? Like, he knows that we made an effort to go. He knows he's not going to play a lot, and he knows that I have a busy schedule. So he negotiated me not going to the game, right?
So
I think
lesson
I still went,
was
though.
like,
I think I still
so
went.
lesson is that they even picked up on it.
They did.
Right?
They do.
Because like now you have some kind of responsibility, and they respect your time to know that, hey.
But as I also noticed good leaders maybe that could be the next episode, right? Your ROT, your return on time.
Oh yeah, lovely.
Every different business that I'm a part of, right? I always say, how can I incorporate that into my family, right? Or my friends, or how can I spend time with, so the new venture we did with the gym, right?
Right.
It's actually been the best thing ever to help me because one of my boys loves to go to the sauna, and he's every night, Dad, we need to make time for the sauna. I'm like, all right, let's go. He's like, all right, we got to hurry up because I need to go to bed.
Yeah.
So we go, right? I'm there at the gym, looking at my employees, looking at the facility, right? Yeah. Talking to clients, networking. Here's my card if you want to buy a house. And then I'm spending quality time in the sauna with my boy.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just a win-win, right? And then my oldest is working there, right?
Oh,
he's getting
amazing.
a job. Yeah. So I think you got, as a leader too, and I wouldn't have that if I didn't hang around other great leaders.
Yeah. Well, and that's good that you bring that up, because I think in our industry, but really in entrepreneurship as a whole, that's going to be key to finding your balance, because everyone's like, oh, find balance, work-life balance. That doesn't exist, friends.
That's a lie.
That's a lie.
There's
it
no
never will be. There is no balance. And if there is, you're not doing enough here in business, right? And really as close, there can be harmony, right, in your life between one thing and the other. But I would never say it's going to be totally balanced. So one of the things that I love that you've been able to incorporate the boys into the new venture, because it allows you to spend more time with them, and then also maintain the business side. And then also just, me personally, my son's 10, my daughter's 7. They know, right? They're learning what you're doing, how you're doing business, how you talk to people. Like, you guys, it's amazing. Kids absorb everything, and you think they don't notice, but they do.
Oh, yeah.
We've had little moments with my son where he's like, did you know them? Why does everybody always say hi to you? I'm like, no, I don't know them, right? But you could just be nice, right? Like, you say, oh, they acted like they knew you. Yeah. Because how many people say hi to each other nowadays, right? Yeah. Like, you just walk by people, you don't smile, you don't acknowledge people. So these little things, when they're tagging along, it's like, it makes a big deal, big difference.
Yeah, they know. And my kids, they'll say, Dad, are you using your negotiating voice? Did you use your voice? Because you change your voice, you do better deals.
Boom, boom.
Yeah.
The ghetto got to come out a little bit, huh?
Yeah.
Well, we're $20,000 under asking, but.
Yeah. So and you just for those of you guys that have kids and your agents, just make them a part of it. They'll. When I first started too, I told my kids I started my career on open houses. With new construction.
It's such a great way to do it too.
Yeah, I did open houses when I first started like crazy. And I tell my boys, hey, every time I sell a house, we're going to get you a hotel, right? Well, I had to stop it because you only could write off. You only could write off
so much.
It got to be 45 miles away from you live to write it off. Okay, that's what my accountant said. But, we ended up doing it, and we had the best memories there. But, I taught my kids early on that, hey, look, and then I would take them with me to the open houses, and I would just say, stay in the closet, Migo, stay right here, And
they open the door?
Yeah, I had one lady open the door. She's like, ah! And my kids like, ah! And they scared each other or whatever. They stopped coming to open houses after that. But I brought them with me when they were young to open houses. Yeah. But then I rewarded them when that house sold. I got them a hotel room. We went swimming. And so you have to make your kids a part of the real estate. If you're doing real estate, your kids got to be a part of it.
Yeah. And it's okay for them to be a part of it.
Yeah,
right? Totally. Like I've gone out and shown houses with my newborn, and we came to the conclusion that, hey, I'm not going to leave them, right? So obviously, if you have a day back to back, of course, find the help. But if it's just like one off and you feel like, hey, he's going to come with me, well, he's going to come with me. And if I lose people because, they're not okay with my little one sleeping in the car seat, well, so be it, right?
So be it.
At the end of the day, like, we want to attract a tribe.
Yep.
So that's the beauty.
Yeah. And there's so much more that we could talk about being a good leader, but I've just been really lucky to learn from some really cool leaders. I think that's what's really helped me a lot.
Yeah. And continuing.
Continue.
To
I'm excited.
learn. Yeah.
Like
I'm excited for you guys.
Yeah. We get to learn more next week.
I know. You guys, we're going to Fuel.
We are.
In California.
San
Diego. Gosh, I think it's going to be like 12 of us now that are going to go.
Yeah.
It's going to be amazing. We're going to have sunshine, so we'll post it for you guys to check out. But there's going to be, Jesse's going to get to speak on stage.
How crazy is
How
that?
freaking crazy is that? I know
Yeah.
he called me all stoked, and I was like, dude, you have to.
Yeah, we just started December
know.
11th, and then they called me ERA's like,
But-
hey, we want you to be on a panel and speak. I'm like, I just started.
Yeah.
And so, and who's going to be one of our main speakers?
Tom Ferry.
Tom Ferry,
is
super
going to be
excited.
there, and it's a great lineup.
Yeah,
It's an
great
amazing lineup.
Yeah, one of the best lineups.
And I think it's going to be awesome to get to network with a lot of agents who are in other states and kind of feeding off each other, the market, and all the good stuff. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
We are hoping to share all the goods for
gonna
you
be-
guys in
that's
our
gonna be fun.
adventures.
Yeah, a lot of us are rolling deep, so it's just another exciting thing, right?
Yeah.
And then awards are every year. Well, we just started, right?
Right.
But next year our agents will all be up for awards,
Yeah.
so and then we'll celebrate every year at a different place. So that's just another cool thing, right? And they just looking at the itinerary, like it's just
Boom, boom, boom.
yeah, they just they didn't spare no expense. And
Yeah.
I think that's just great. Great education, great come back,
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah, I think we're ready. We're ready to bring the energy, to enjoy the time,
Yeah.
to learn,
And just hang out.
hang out. Yeah, just
Our
hang out.
our favorite thing in Imagine, our vision is honoring values, collaborating as family, and dedicated to excellence. But collaborating as family means we get to hang, right? And that's our funnest times. It's like
Yeah.
my favorite time is to hanging out with all my homies, and we're just having a good time.
Yep.
We're laughing, we're sharing stories, we're just being funny. And that's what I look forward to the most. It's just,
Yeah.
I love to hang. We like to have our family reunions all the time, just on the lake or at somebody's house.
Yeah.
Bring everybody's kids. And that's one thing that I just love to do. I just love to hang out with everybody.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. We're excited. This was awesome. We're gonna
was.
do more.
Yes, we are.
God willing, we're gonna be able to share with you guys, just so you get to know us a little bit more,
Yeah.
right? Maybe eventually we'll be able to do like a live one
Yeah.
where people can chime in, ask your questions, do your thing.
That'd be fun.
Nothing is staged, y'all.
Nothing.
So we literally be chatting about like, hey, what should we talk about?
Just
Bum,
this,
bum,
this,
bum.
this, it.
Rough
Go with
market
the flow.
overview. Just share with people like who we are, what
Yeah.
we do, how we view things. Hopefully be able to inspire, motivate, people not just in the industry but as a whole
Yeah.
who are on their journey to do amazing things. So we hope to be able to bring this to you guys probably all on your feed. You're gonna be like, oh God, these
Here we
guys
go
are-
again.
Here we go again.
Yeah.
Like and share, friends.
Yeah, yeah.
But
We're
it'll be
excited.
great. We're stoked. Next time we would love to have Amy join us. You guys, Jesse and Amy are amazing. Love them. We love them. She's just such a wholesome.
She is. She's the real
Yeah,
deal.
She is a
Yeah.
real deal.
She keeps me
She
grounded.
is.
She's the what'd you call it? The wind beneath
Yeah.
our sails.
Aye. He wants you to fall in love again.
There's your Valentine's gift.
There you go. But thank you guys for joining us. We appreciate you all taking the time to listen to our crazies.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, we're so excited that you can join us here at the Imagine podcast. And like I say, we just want to be fun. We want to be real, and kind of show you behind the scenes of how things
Yeah.
work. And
the good, the bad, and the ugly, friends.
yes, all of it. all of it. So Maricruz, thank you for hosting us at your beautiful home.
Of course.
And while we were here, she actually sold like 2 or 3 homes on her phone.
Yeah, you
I've been
guys,
watching
it's been
her, so.
boom, boom, boom. We
So-
do it.
All right, guys, take care. Thank you, and God bless you guys all.